A school district must ensure that their facilities and staff are adequately serving the needs of their students. Planning practices and processes contains 4 key areas, which includes long-term planning, strategic planning, capital planning, and demographics and attendance zones. Each of these is a very important element to the development of the district's overall goal to serve the students. Imagine a classroom without a teacher or students with no building. What if there were no curriculum or resources for instruction? Begin with the end in mind means to first define the vision, then design proactive steps to achieving that vision. School organizations must prepare for the future by participating in the long-range planning. An organization that lacks vision empowers other factors and circumstances to shape its future. For some districts, the future begins with the profile of the graduate. The profile can define the cognitive, personal, and interpersonal skills that each student must exhibit by the time of graduation. The profile is best developed by an advisory group consisting of teachers, families, administrators, and other community representatives. The group identifies critical competencies for a successful life, work, and society. The profile should serve as an alignment lever for all planning and transformative efforts. The process of long-term planning should involve a variety of stakeholders. Membership should be diverse to ensure all special interests and populations are represented. It should include business leaders and city leaders who know the future needs of the community. It should include families, school personnel, and school board members whose decisions should align to the long-term plan. The process can be led by a school executive, such as the superintendent or the assistant superintendent, but many times it is outsourced to avoid biases. Facilitators should be knowledgeable of the components of project planning, have good management skills, and possess a comprehensive understanding of the education institution. Long-term planning is not a one-day event. It requires data gathering, analysis, and multi-level discussions and planning. A long-range plan typically spans 3 to 5 years. The more complex the organization or external factors, the less years recommended. For plans to be effective, they should be communicated often and in a variety of ways, such as in meetings, posted on websites, and displayed in buildings throughout the organization. Plans must be reviewed at least annually to see if changes or modifications are needed. External factors, such as changes with new legislation, funding, or unexpected changes in demographics, have a huge impact on long-term plans. Most importantly, the plan must be actively monitored to maintain integrity to the plan and the process. The Greek origin of the word strategy was related to the military and it meant to gain the upper hand. Just as in war times, strategic planning requires substantial forethought. It is more than just a checklist to be done in a year. A strategic plan points out the importance of making decisions and ensures a school organization can successfully respond to changes. It should create momentum and change the behaviors for student success and organizational excellence. Just as with long-range planning, the process of strategic planning should involve a diverse group of stakeholders. Some districts have used their site-based decision-making committee. The committee membership should exhibit a variety of skills, including communication, goal setting, collaboration, prioritizing techniques, and consensus building. Members should understand the role legislation plays in strategic planning. Plans must remain flexible to address each change brought about by new laws. There are other tools in the strategic planning process, including a SWOT analysis, which focuses on strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. A similar technique, SOAR, focuses on the more positive aspects, such as strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and results. There are other techniques that can be used during the process, and all of it can be documented on various available software used for district and campus improvement planning.
Without capital planning, a district could limit its resources on projects and spend money on projects that do not enhance the educational goals for the district. When doing capital planning, districts will usually issue bonds to pay for large projects. The district sells bonds as approved by voters in a bond election to investors who will be paid principal and interest. Strategic capital planning is a process that quantifies how much money a district needs to achieve its strategic objectives and then identifies when and from what sources those monies are needed and how funding sources should be allocated across projected future financial periods. The 5 best practices for capital planning are: prepare inputs carefully, which consists of creating a list of facilities, equipment, assets, and building components. Integrate the data, integrating day-to-day and work order data into a master plan. Preventative maintenance. A strong preventative maintenance program can save a school upwards of 50 to 60% in emergency maintenance work. Reinvest to prevent a backlog. Industry standards advise reinvesting 2% of the current replacement value of an item annually to keep from having a backlog of work orders. Engage stakeholders. It is imperative that the community be engaged early and often. Some regulations that govern capital planning are the Texas Education Agency, or TEA, which includes 6 facility standards, each specific to capital planning. The Texas Administrative Code, Title 19, Part 2, Chapter 61, Subchapter CC, Rule 61.1036, which outlines and defines any major plans for major capital investment, major space renovations, portable or modular buildings, square feet per student, square feet per room measurement, implementation date, certification of design and construction, and an instructional area size and design requirements. The Texas Education Code, Section 45.01, lists what school district can issue bonds for, which include the construction, acquisition, and equipment of school buildings in the district. A district must also have a board policy to outline capital planning and the process for a capital improvement program. A district can ensure that their facilities are adequately serving the needs of their students and the learning environment by monitoring them frequently. This means that they would need to take an inventory of the assets and facilities life cycle. Prioritizing helps to plan and budget accordingly. Once the priority is determined, the budget can be planned to ensure that the needs of the building are met in a timely manner. As educational specifications change and programming models evolve, it is important that a school district continually assess its capital improvement needs and plan accordingly. There are several factors that need to be taken into consideration when school administration is designing an attendance zone: classroom capacity of the school, the acreage of the site, natural boundaries, long-range projections, the proximity of the students to the campus, input from board members, input from involved principals and staff, input from involved communities, the bond programs, major thoroughfares that cannot be crossed safely by pedestrians, continuity of the school zone, and alignment of the feeder pattern. As areas become more populated, it is important for a district to do a demographic study to ensure that the classrooms are not overcrowded. The district must take into consideration any development that is occurring in the city to keep a healthy teacher-to-student ratio in the classroom. Having too many students in a classroom is not conducive to a healthy learning environment, so a district must maintain and track any growth. School districts usually outsource demographic studies to a vendor who staffs demographers. There is an importance for the districts to seek a demographer to do a study of their area when there is a fluctuation in growth. The uses of the demographic data can help the district to understand the ratios of student per home. This number determines the high-density areas and can help with setting boundaries within the attendance zones. Plans must be communicated often and in a variety of methods. Transparency is important for the community buy-in. Once designed, plans should be revisited frequently and monitored using a balanced scorecard.